some good news. So today I want to share fight for your ministry and fight for your vision. So whatever your vision is and whatever your dream is, you need to fight for that. So if you have heard that is your vision, if you have heard that is your dream, and if you have heard this is your gift, if you have heard that this is your ministry, and I have come to share the good news that you have to fight for it. And the reason that you need to fight for is because when you hear it, you need to see. And until you fight for your vision, how can you see? And I'm going to share biblical, according to the Bible, because I'm going to share some of the scripture from the Bible to bring it to you and show you that why do you need to fight for your vision? Why do you need to fight for your dream? So when God has given Abraham a vision, I'm going to share it from Abraham. In Genesis, we see in 12 when God called Abraham, and Abraham was he was like in a place where God called Abraham. And God called Abraham and he spoken the word to him. In Genesis 12 we see, I will bless you. So he called him to come out of his father's land and from his father's house. And then from the family. And that's where we're going to see that God actually already told Abraham to come out and separate himself. But when Abraham has done that, he just dragged something, he carried with him something that was Lot. So God did not call Lot to come along with him. He said to Abraham and his wife to come from the place. So Abraham has done what God said. He came and he came, he did it, but he carried something with him. We're going to talk about this later. Then we see that Abraham did not see his vision until Abraham, what he carried with him, what he dragged with him, that Lot, he has to separate him. So this Lot, he has to separate him. He has to separate, Abraham has to separate himself from the Lot. And when he separated, then he saw, God showed him that from the foresight that this old land belongs to you and to your descendant. So here we see that Abraham, he actually, what he carried with him. Now, when I was looking at definition of Lot, it is like telling in dictionary, it's saying Lot mean a lot. So that means it can also, you can say crowd. You can also say, because a lot. So he carried Lot, which is a lot, and it's like he carried something. His name is Lot. The Bible explains his name is Lot. So you have to fight for your dream, and until when Abraham saw even, he did not sow yet, because he did not sow yet until he came to Genesis 15 and walking all the way. He did not sow yet. But he heard that this land, foresight, it is given to you. So I will read it from here, from Genesis 13. And I'm reading from 14. And the Lord said to Abraham, after Lot had separated from him. Now, after Lot, he has separated. Now, it's not automatically that Abraham is separated from the Lord. But if, when I was reading from 10, it was from 10, and then we're looking at, from 8 as well. It says, So Abram said to Lord, please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsman and your herdsman, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left. So here, Abraham actually made a decision. Now this is, I'm reading from Genesis 13 and Genesis 12. We see that he left his father's house and the country and all that place he left. But in Genesis 13, he walked with God and he was walking, it's like he's walking with God now. But he came to a place where he realized that he need to separate something from himself. And because very first reason that he saw when he decided and made a decision that he need to separate himself from Lot, that is when there was a strife going on. Now, reference from Genesis 26, we see when Isaac was increasing and he was moving upward, and that's where the strife, the people, the crowd was striving with him and quarreling with him. In Genesis 13, it also mentioned that then Abraham went up from Egypt, so he's now going upward. Because now we are seeing in chapter 13 that Abraham is going upward. First in Genesis, Abraham was down, now he's moving upward. So when he was moving upward, we see now this is like from 1 Genesis chapter 13 and 1 we see that he is moving upward. And then we see in 8 he but then he saw it that there is quarrel going on. So he made a decision to separate himself. And then we see that when he separated himself, and that's in 14, then the Lord said to Abraham, after Lot had separated from him, lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are. And it said north, south, east, and westward. Now here, the place he was is talking about his heart. Now he need to see in the spirit, the place. So he need to see, it is like the mindset. So he has to change his mindset, because all the way we see that he was like, it was like, he was like coming, it's the thoughts. You can also say crowd as a thoughts and as many voices. Because crowd means many voices, many decisions, many advices. So he came to a place where now the Lord want him to see in his heart, in his spirit, foresight, it is see the vision now. So here we see that he has to first of all separate himself from Lot, what he was carrying with him. It can be thoughts, it can be, because he was looking at himself. It was like his self-center was there. And then he has to separate that. So he has to separate, it is like you have to bring the Lord, the vision in the center. So here he saw the strife because he was moving upward. So when you are moving upward, you're increasing, it's a quarreling. So he has to come out of the people who was quarreling with him, and quarreling means it is stopping someone not to move forward. So he has to separate himself, those people who was quarreling with him, and that was like they were not letting him moving forward, and he was moving forward. He has to make a decision to be around and to separate himself. We see in Genesis, we see in chapter 1, when God said, let there be light, what he did is separated. He divided light from the darkness. So because light is to rule. So the light is to rule the day. So here we see, and then we're looking at in when we are looking all the way from, I'm reading, 14. When I see in 14, then I see that he heard about this lot. There was a fight going on, and then we see, that he he did a fight. So he fighted for his ministry. He fighted, he took it all back. So it's like he restored. So now he came